That doesn't sound like, yeah, but brother, you know we're always going to sin. Oh, would you stop and listen and humble your heart and stop this thing for a moment? I am not being mean. I'm being very challenging right now. I have heard countless people rob fellow Christians with no understanding. Don't let many of you be teachers. There's too many people. We have a brother, we're never perfect. What are you saying? You're perfect? You're never going to sin? We're always sinning. I'm probably sinning while I'm breathing. I'm probably sinning right now. I've had people tell me that my whole Christian life, and I say, well, you probably ought to get born again. I don't like you. You think you're perfect. I never said that. I think he sees me that way. And me believing that brings the best out in me. You know, there's this real concern about grace on the earth right now. There's people that have authority in the body, that have prestige, speaking out of turn. They don't know what they're saying because we get into this pendulum effect, and there's people that are preaching kind of stiff and legal stuff. So then these other camps start preaching liberty and grace, and then they get concerned, so they respond and go tighter. They react and they go looser. So then prominent people stand up and make bold statements in magazines that people read and publish stuff and Facebook and all this stuff that hears it. And prominent people, you know, be careful of this new grace movement. There's a grace revolution that's deceived and not from the Lord and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking, what a tragic thing to write without knowing what you're saying. It's simple, guys. If you start condemning the word grace, we're saved by grace. We are what we are by the grace of God. I understand there's miscues, but don't you step in and try to fix it with overstatements. Because a new believer hears somebody talking about grace and red flags are flying, and they can't even hear the grace of salvation because of your comments. Let me tell you real plain how simple it is. Grace is different than mercy. Grace is God's etching tool. It's His power on my behalf to become like Him. Mercy is afforded by the heart of God to give me a chance when I deserve none. When I receive that mercy, it ushers me in to the dispensation of grace. And all of a sudden, I'm saved by grace through faith, and God's etching tool of grace begins to make me more like Him as I yield to Him, and the great potter has his way. If you preach grace apart from transformation, you'll preach perversion. And you'll tell people in the long run, and this is what this other crowd is afraid of. And they hear it. Well, God knows my heart. He loves me anyway. And they're doing all kinds of things in their life that are the same as before they were saved. And they're like, well, He understands. He shed His blood anyway. He knows I'm a sinner. That is not what I'm preaching. I'm preaching He changes us. We reckon ourselves dead to sin. He gives us new life. I didn't find a way to sin and get away with it. I found a way to be free. Now listen to me. Grace apart from transformation is perversion. But don't you tighten the message to react to the looseness. Just preach the gospel. Because now we got this pendulum, and people get hurt and confused and back into camps when God wants to make us one. So here's Jesus in this happy, healthy middle place going, hey guys, no, I'm right here. And we're all doing it in the name of the Lord. And writing our big excerpts and all this stuff. You're always saved by grace. Grace is nothing to be concerned about. It's something to rejoice in. He's grace for grace. We beheld Him in grace and truth. We're saved by grace through faith. His grace abounds. You are what you are by the grace of God. You're going to throw all those scriptures away because somebody preached loose? No, just preach the truth. Grace is not an empowerment to stay the same. Grace is a guarantee to change. And guess who gets all the glory? Ain't no super Christians, just believers. I'm having so much fun. Are you okay?